Glass has been a part of human life for over 3,500 years. Even though now we can create mass amounts of glass, the recipe has stayed relatively the same. In its basic structure, glass is made from pure silica that can most commonly be found in sand. However, because pure silica has a very high melting temperature of 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit and is not the most durable material, sodium carbonate, known as soda ash, limestone, magnesium oxide, and aluminum oxide were introduced into recipes to strengthen it and lower the melting point. The versatility and economy of glass helped it to become a common material in modern society. Today, in the United States, glass is made from readily available domestic materials such as sand, soda ash, limestone, and cullet, the industry term for furnace-ready recycled glass. These materials are mixed or batched, heated until they melt, and molded into the desirable shape. How important is glass to this process? Recycled glass can be substituted for up to 95% of raw materials in a batch of newly processed glass. Energy costs drop about 2 to 3% for every 10% cullet used in the manufacturing process because furnace-ready recycled glass can be melted at a lower temperature than what is required to make a batch of glass from new, raw materials. The manufacturers benefit from recycling in several ways. It reduces emissions and consumption of raw materials, extends the life of plant equipment, such as furnaces, and saves energy. An estimated 80% of all glass containers recovered for recycling are melted in furnaces and used in the manufacturing of new glass containers. Glass holds a unique place in Michigan's recycling world. In 1976, to increase recycling rates, Michigan's legislature enacted the Bottle Deposit Law, which provides a 10-cent refund for the return of designated empty containers made of glass, metal, plastic, or paper. The 10-cent deposit, established in Michigan in 1976, remains one of the highest in the country. The state's redemption rate is the highest, too. In 2014, 94% of bottles sold were returned to the stores and recycled. In the early 2000s, the recovery rate for glass containers specifically was 96%. Although Michigan's numbers are impressive, the state's redemption rate continues to decline little by little. Industry experts suggest many reasons for this, including changes to the economy, the fact that the 10-cent deposit amount has not kept up with the cost of inflation, and the growth of single-stream recycling. Single-stream recycling allows people to put mixed recyclables into one container for collection, relying on equipment at the recycle center to sort and separate different materials. Research shows that single-stream recycling is convenient and can lead to greater amounts of people recycling in general, but it can be a real problem for glass recycling. You see, not all glass is the same. The type of glass that is used for food and beverage containers may have different properties than glass used for other purposes, such as windows or fixtures. If recycled glass of different types are mixed, the product may have structural issues. Once you put your glass materials into the curbside bin and they make their way to the materials recovery facility, they can be mixed with other types of glass material. This new mixture of glass may not be suitable to be remanufactured into other glass bottles or jars. At the processing facility, recycled glass is washed, sorted by color, crushed into cullet, and then sorted through a series of screens in order to collect batches based on size. Different size grade particles, from small pebble size to dust, are shipped to different manufacturers as raw material for new glass products. For example, fiberglass insulation requires very fine cullet, while abrasives require large grade particles. Common uses for mixed recycled glass include construction materials like insulation, abrasives, cement filler, windows, mirrors, appliances and electronics such as screens, tables, stovetops and doors, light bulbs, optical equipment, as well as home decorating supplies like candlesticks, artwork, lampshades, and vases. Technologies like solar panels, fiber optic cables, and medical equipment may contain recycled glass. Unfortunately, a recycling center that is sorting single-stream recyclables cannot charge as much for a batch of mixed glass. Bottle-grade only glass, such as the glass retrieved through store returns, is more valuable and helps to sustain a market for recycled glass. This is why there are so many recycling centers that do not take glass in their single-stream collection. Either the recycling center does not have the mechanical equipment to store and sort glass, or they do not have a good market to sell the recycled glass they have collected. Those living in Ann Arbor are fortunate to have access to curbside glass collection. In 2020, your recycling is being taken to the Southfield Materials Recovery Facility for processing. For neighboring communities who do not have curbside glass recycling available to them, glass may be donated to thrift stores or taken to recycling drop-off stations, such as the one located at the corner of Ellsworth and Platte Roads in Ann Arbor. In early 2020, lawmakers in Lansing presented a new bill, an update to the 1976 Michigan Bottle Deposit Bill, the first time in 44 years. The proposed law reaffirms a commitment to the bottle deposit system that has been so successful and allocates funds to further encourage recycling and prevent system fraud. Recycled glass is an important ingredient in everything from glass containers to construction materials to electronics to toys. Glass is infinitely recyclable and made entirely of natural materials, leaving no polluting chemical residues in its wake. Whether you are returning bottles to the store or sending them to the recycle center, you are helping preserve raw materials and energy and supporting a healthy environment for us all. Today's craft is making spooky lanterns. Spooky lanterns are super fun and easy to make. You can use any kind of jar at home. You can use just a pasta jar or you can use an old canning jar. For today's activity, you will need a glass jar, scissors, a paintbrush, some type of glue like Mod Podge, black paper for decorating, ribbon if you choose for decorating, and different colored tissue paper. Once you get all of your layers on, you're going to want to cut off any excess and then use your paintbrush to put another layer of Mod Podge over top. So once you've cut off your excess amount of tissue paper at the bottom, you want to use the Mod Podge to help fold over the edges so you have a nice clean edge on the jar. Just kind of smooth down this Mod Podge. So one of the reasons you want to recover your jar in Mod Podge after you put the tissue paper on is because it will leave the jars having a nice shiny effect at the end. And it will look kind of like marbly stained glass. So while your Mod Podge is drying on your jar, You can start cutting out some different kinds of shapes and designs to decorate the outside of your jar. If you use black paper, when you put a candle in there, it will create a silhouette effect. So I'm just cutting out now some different shapes. To put any type of Mod Podge over the ribbon. It can just rest on top at the end.